Oh man, you ready for another day, my friend? Let's get into pre-show mode. Let's get into pre-show mode. Hulkamania, brother. So, by the way, what is the weather there in Detroit? And I'll tell you what it is here in Arizona.
Yeah, we had some pretty good weather for the first time this week, so got a lot of yard work done. But today is miserably cold and wet and rainy, so it's a good day to stay in the house.
Oh wow. Here it's going to be another 100-degree day in Arizona. We can't complain. We can't complain at all.
Well, look like you brought the sun in with you there, baby.
Yep. Oh, wait. Hold on. I think we got somebody joining the show real quick. Oh, look who it is. It's Glenn. Hey, Glenn, how are you?
What the heck are you wearing?
It's Dubamania today, baby. It's P-Dubs Mania running wild. So appreciate you guys tuning in. We're in pre-show mode. We're getting ready to get the show launched here. Hey, Adam. Hey, John. Welcome to the show. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We're just getting fired up, getting ready. Look who we got. We got Glenn as well.
Glenn?
What? Right. And how are you doing, Glenn? Where's your wrestling costume? What the heck, man?
Anything I wear around women becomes a wrestling costume, so it doesn't really matter what I have on.
Oh, look, we got Nacho Libre. What's up, Jerry? How are you? Welcome to the show. Okay, guys, let's kind of let's start getting fired away here. I think I'm ready. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
You're ready as well. Devil Waldo says that is his costume. Is WrestleFest coming to Arcade One Up? I hope so. So, all right, guys. Appreciate you tuning in. We're going to have a couple guest stars pop in and out. Should have a fun, exciting show for you planned. And let's see here. Let me just make sure I got my stuff set up. All right, Carl, take it away, my friend.
What up, YouTube? It's your boy, Detroit Love. So let me ask you something there, brother. What you gonna do when P-Dubs run wild on YouTube Live?
What up, everybody? Thank you for tuning into the Loft Report, your arcade and gaming news podcast show. I'm P-Dubs, a.k.a. Hulk Hogan, and with me, as always, is Detroit Love. How you doing, Carl?
What up, everybody?
And we have a special guest right beneath us, Glenn. What's going on, Glenn?
What's going on, guys? I have my wrestling hat on, so I'm with you guys.
Yeah, you look pretty transparent there, Glenn. You look like a ghost, brother.
I do. In typical Glenn's Retro Show fashion, my ancient archaic camera was acting up. Actually, my good cameras were acting up. The ancient one is the one working, which is why I look like a ghost.
Well, that's awesome. And I'm really happy you decided to join the show so last minute. And guys, right after our show ends, our show usually lasts an hour. Glenn, you got something special going on. What can they do? They can tune off the Loft Report, jump onto your channel, and what's going on?
Well, we're doing another episode of Glenn and Cole Plays. I'm going to do some Metal Slug on the Neo Geo Mini.
Nice.
I gotta be honest with you guys. You know, there was so much trash talk on that Neo Geo Mini, so I held off on buying it. And I got it for $30, and I got a couple of controllers. It's not bad at all. I mean, that's what gets me about the internet. You know, some people will just come out and say, "Oh, this thing sucks," blah blah blah, and then you don't buy something to find out, it's really not bad at all, especially for the price. I don't think it's bad at all, but it's one of the things about the internet. People just come out and say they hate it, and then people start going, "Yeah, that thing sucks." No one's ever tried it. Is it perfect? No, but it's not bad.
Well, Gledomania and Colomania is going to be running wild later this afternoon, so make sure you guys tune into his show. It should be coming on immediately following our show. Super excited. I'll be tuning in, Glenn. Definitely want to see you guys checking out that game. Super awesome. So let's kind of dive into the arcade news, brother. Let me ask you something, Carl. Arcade One Up, they've been all over the place lately. And for instance, we now have our Star Wars limited seat bench game, and Glenn would also love your feedback as well on this. Now, they've told us that they're putting LED lights on the back of the cabinets. Apparently, these were at CES. I never noticed it at CES. They updated the Walmart listings to now say that. So some of their cabinets have light up deck protectors. Some of their cabinets have now Star Wars is going to have LED lights on the back of the cabinet. So the question for you two gentlemen is, do you guys think this is a beneficial or more of a pointless like feature? Like, is this something really cool or something it was just like a throwaway, let's stick it in there? What do you guys think about this stuff?
Well, you go ahead first, Glenn.
I'm going to start. Well, in my honest opinion, it's not an expensive thing for them to add, and they have to start differentiating themselves more. I mean, they already are, but with other things in the market, like the ad games machine and the other machines in the market, they got to do some things to make you kind of look at theirs and give it a double take. And let's be honest, one of the biggest mods people do is put these LED lights either on the back of the machines or in the room, so it's already there. So I don't think it's a bad thing to do. I really do like that Star Wars cabinet with the bench. I do wish the bench had it back though. When you get to be an old fart like me, you want to kind of just kick back and relax. And it sounds stupid. Even a cup holder like between your legs or something like that, just to put your beer when you're playing. Saving the galaxy, you gotta have a drink.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I think overall, I do like the fact that they're kind of thinking outside the box a little bit. What can they add? That's not going to add a huge expense to the machine, so they don't have to raise the price much, but give us a little something back. And I actually, me personally, I think it's a nice little thing. If you want it, again, my motto: it's better to have it and not use it than want it and not have it.
Yes, you should get a tattoo, Glenn, that says that.
Oh, I do, but I can't show you on a family-friendly show.
And Carl, what are your thoughts about these light up deck protectors, lighting up the back of the cabinets? Do you think this was a good move by Arcade 1-Up?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the LEDs look nice. They look nice, and especially with the Star Trek one, that's just the best one I think to start off with it, to introduce it. It just gives it a nice back glow. As we see all the modders doing these things, Arcade 1-Up has made it very clear. They learn from the modding community. Whatever they see a lot of people doing, it makes sense to do. If a lot of people have that much interest in it, then clearly it's something that will be attractive to most buyers. Because most people don't want to have to add stuff.
I'll tell you real quick. You said Star Trek on this one. You meant Star Wars.
Yeah,
I would love for them to come out with that Star Trek arcade from Sega. The picture game would have been awesome, especially in the sit-down bench like that, the captain's chair, sitting back there. That would have been awesome.
Do you know, Glenn? Do you remember who the publisher was for that Star Trek game? Who
they
would have
Sega.
It was
Sega.
It was
Sega. Yeah, it was. And then they had two versions. The standard version, which I played at Chuck E. Cheese in New Jersey back when that came out. But I found one of the captain's chair ones, and that thing actually wasn't the most comfortable to play with the controls, but you're still sitting in Kirk's chair, man. So what's better than that?
Yeah. This, when I first saw this Star Wars,
there you go.
And what you're talking about, the backless thing, the first thing I thought, that would be a slick idea if they made the risers where it could be an optional seat. And that's what I immediately thought of. You know what I mean? So if it's a tall,
like a slide out drawer that comes out like a little bench.
No, I'm saying if just a standard riser, if you have it on it, it's taller. If you have it shorter, it becomes a seat versus just being a non-functional riser.
That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea at all. You got to copyright that and get that quick in the publishing house.
But that was the first thing I thought of when I first saw it. I was like, that'd be cool if they did that with all right. Like look at there, that Pac-Man. If that Pac-Man, you could take it off and make it a seat when you're sitting down on it, that'd be pretty sweet. So it will obviously have to be a little bit taller, which most people want those risers to be a little bit taller anyway.
I got to tell you, the Star Wars one that came out with that riser is about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches taller. Mm-hmm. That is what they all should be.
Yep.
I mean, there are other risers, okay, but that I took the Star Wars riser and put my Pac-Man on it and my Mortal Kombat on it, it was just a better height. Now, a lot of people put those little risers, like little feet on the bottom of their other ones to raise it. But I do think that the Star Wars height of that riser, I agree with you, is a better height. Maybe in the future they'll have little legs that can pop out and lock into place to give you an extra 1 or 2 inches. Again, that's not a huge expense for them to put something like that on there, but it's an option because it's one of the people think, right? Tall people. I mean, I'm only 5'8", so I'm okay with it. But someone 6'2", 6'5", like John Riggs, he's what, 6'4", something like that.
Big guy.
Yeah, so I'm very nice to him. I don't want him coming over like give me a clunk on the head. But someone like him, that normal riser, even the Star Wars riser, may not quite be enough. So it would be good just to give, basically you're trying to make as many people happy as possible to buy your product, right? You want to have some options. So it's a small expense at the factory to do this. And there's a lot of people who would love it, but they're not comfortable modding.
Right.
Not everyone's insane like us, where we have no problem just tackling it and doing things to it.
True.
So having something there from the factory, I just think it's a smarter move, and I don't see a negative to it. I mean, again, it's a small expense, but you can stop a lot of haters saying it's too short, it's a toy. Well, it is a toy, but it's not too short. You can change the height. Like P-Dubs, you got that Pac-Man there. I think it looks really, really nice. How are you with the height?
With this particular cabinet with Pac-Man, the height's fine for me. The marquee and the top of the screen are like lined up right at eye level, so you know I don't have any issues myself playing this game from a height standpoint. So, but speaking of the Pac-Man cabinet, guys, we got another guy jumping on the show right here. It is Rex from the Rexer Show. How you doing, Rex?
Good. Hello, gentlemen. How are you? Glenn, how are you? D-Love, how are you?
Oh, man.
Good
show, man.
Everyone,
thanks for having me.
Everyone say hi to Rex. This is turning into a Royal Rumble, brother, this Sunday. Royal Rumble full of YouTubers on your screen. Rex, you have some thoughts about this Pac-Man cabinet, and if anyone can give it to us straight, it's Rex from the Rexer Show. Rex, what are you thinking? What have you seen? It's come out to mixed reviews. I haven't dropped my review video yet.
Well, it should have mixed reviews in my opinion. And you know, I'm going to give it to you straight. You know, you heard me once, we have calls on this. I'll go over a couple things that irritate me. And then we'll maybe talk a little bit about One Up and as general as a business and how they approach this. But the first thing that you mentioned was how the riser sides don't match. They don't match the main part of the cabinet. So the wood doesn't flow down. Right. So, I mean, the original, it was all wood on the side. So I don't like how they did the wood on the front, the black on the sides. I think they really botched that idea. It doesn't look bad, but I still think it should be flowing like the, say, original kind of. The other issue I had obviously was the volume, P-Dubs. How on God's green earth does not one person play this game for Arcade 1-Up and go, yeah, I think something's wrong with the volume. Maybe we should stop before we start selling these things. I was hoping yours was the only one like that, and that, maybe it was just a glitch and a flaw in yours, but it's not. And it's very concerning from how they approach their selling and their business and just putting something out there with that flaw.
Yeah, I mean, personally, like this picture right here on screen, I think that let's take a look. When Arcade 1-Up did the Mortal Kombat custom risers with the graphics on it, they made the front of the risers as well as the sides of the risers gray, which matches the full cabinet going up and down on the sides. When you look at this cabinet from the sides, it looks like a brown cabinet sitting on a black riser. When you look at it from the front, it looks like a black cabinet sitting on a brown riser, and then watch the next picture. But when you look at it from an angle, this is what gets me. And it might be the small things that annoy me, but it should be the next picture. It should flip over here in a second here. This right here bothers the living heck out of me. It looks like a checkerboard when you look at it from this angle, and I just don't think it looks good. I think they just should have done brown riser, all three sides. What do you think, Glenn? In all honesty,
and if I'm being completely honest, I think I'm okay with the black and the wood grain. But I agree with Rex. I don't understand why they would put the black riser with the wood. That wood should flow all the way down, to make that look like it's a taller cabinet. And then on the front, since it's already black, that's why I'm fine with the black there. I think the wood would detract from it. That one, I don't know what to say. I have no one looked at that beforehand. I didn't talk about the audio, but how just aesthetically looking at it, it doesn't flow nice. It looks like a harsh change right there. It's just wood to black. And I personally, if I had the P-Dubs, I would just turn it, even though the cabinet, the riser's not designed that way. I would just turn it just to make the wood flow on the sides and keep the black on the front. I personally could not look at it like that.
Yeah. When you look at it from an angle, like I said. It looks like a mess.
Right.
I want to bust out my checkers and start playing checkers when I'm staring at this arcade cabinet.
Now, P-Dubs, is the back wood grain as well?
Nope, it's black. It's black.
So 3 sides are black, and then you got the front is wood.
Yeah. So the only downside you're gonna have are those 2 little lips that come down in the front. That little bezel. Right. That'll be on the sides, but I'd much rather have it like that. I'm gonna be honest. I'm walking into a room and looking at that; it would drive me insane.
And that would only work, Glenn, with the side that you prefer because it only has that wood grain on one of the sides, unfortunately. But yeah, that was a big oversight on their part. That it does look horrible that way.
I personally think they have, they're very good friends with Tyler, and so they're probably saying we'll give Tyler extra money, or they'll give Sable Arcades extra money so people can buy some new wrap around there. They're not trying to hurt the small guy, so they just try to help him out.
Yeah, I just wonder if somebody in their company at one point said, "Hey, maybe we should make it all wood grain on the side." Does anybody offer that? Is there anybody in their company that has some sort of arcade knowledge who would have said, well, the original kind of just flows down. I know, they don't have pedestals on originals, but, maybe we should make it all wood on the sides. I mean, it's not just this one thing that we talk about arcade one-up and missing the finer details, whether it's 4-way joysticks or, it's just like they don't have some arcade guy who can give them a valuable insight and an opinion on the product. So I don't know. I have another issue with the thing that I want to bring up before I forget.
Sure, go ahead.
And it's pricing, and I think it's $3.99 now for the one without the stool, without the light up deck protector or whatever.
Yep.
What was the original? The first one that came out, was it $2.99?
Like the original Pac-Man,
the first Pac-Man.
Yeah, it was $2.99 without a riser.
Okay. So at least this one. So you're getting a riser with this one as well for $3.99.
Yep. Riser.
Okay, so that price is not that bad. Now the $4.99 when you throw in the stool and the light up deck protector. I mean, come on. What they're already charging $70 for the stool already, which is at a profit. The light up deck protector can't be that much. So now we're at $4.99 for something where you're getting another game, you're getting Galaga, you're getting a riser, you're getting an upgraded joystick that probably was $2.75, now is $3.50. So is it within the right price range? Are they taking advantage of the general public? Have they been honest and open, and are they being reasonable with their pricing scheme? I don't know. You guys can comment on it and say $4.99 is a good price for all that. $3.99 is a good price for what you're getting. I don't know.
What do you think, Glenn?
Well, to be honest, any company can charge what people are willing to pay. So that's the first thing.
True.
Next thing just to remember is that they do have to pay the licensees. I have no idea what they pay for licenses, but I'm sure they pay a little money for that. And then the big thing now is shipping these things. They're not light. So those are the costs that get incurred by them. So I don't think it's completely unreasonable for it. But like anything else, we all want it cheaper. There's no question about that. And they have to make a profit. I mean, think about it. Arcade One-Up is really only been out a little over a year and a half, maybe.
2.
And think about when they first announced their Asteroids and Centipede, they were going for $4.99 back then. And I was willing to throw down the cash for it at that point because I wanted an Asteroid. I wanted a Centipede at the house. And I have a Zaxxon machine, and those things new will cost you thousands. So it's a give and take. It's if you're willing to spend that kind of money, where you all know I'm insane, so I would. It just comes down to how much you love that game. Can it be made cheaper? Possibly. I'm sure it is. I'm sure they're making a good amount of money on each unit, and that's what companies are here to do. But if no one goes out and buys them, I guarantee the pricing would change. But people go out and think that it's a value.
What do you think if you're the person who bought the Galaga and the Pac-Man already, and now they come out not too much longer later? What has it been? A year and a half? 2? I don't even know how long. Now you got one with Galaga and Pac-Man. Aren't you going, oh man? Was it too soon to release something like this? I know it was the 40th anniversary and you can't do anything about it, but now you put Galaga on it. I'm kind of disappointed if I have the Galaga and the Pac-Man.
Let me field that question because that's actually the experience that I'm going through right now. Is I had the Pac-Man Generation 1, I had the Galaga Generation 1. I saw this as an opportunity to consolidate and upgrade. get better speakers, get better monitor, as well as save on space, guys. We're all running out of space. We can't just keep, even guys with giant rooms with 15 cabinets, guess what? You're going to run out of space at some point. You can't possibly own them all. So I saw it as an opportunity to consolidate, sold each of mine for I think I got them like 150 each. So like $300 went towards this cabinet. And unfortunately, so I get the cabinet and I'm like, yeah, I upgraded and I did a live stream playing the games. I'm like, oh, it's cool, and then once the bedazzling wears off, right? This is why I recommended anyone who buys this cabinet, don't rush a review, play it for a few days before you actually do a review. The longer I own this cabinet, in all honesty, the more it's pissing me off. I hate to say that, I hate to be so blunt, but the appearance of the cabinet, the sound, in all honesty, and David McIntosh is going to hate me because I did send him a message the day I received the cabinet. I think you're going to get a positive review. Well, I have a feeling by the time I drop my review, he's going to get mad at me, but I got to be honest with the viewers. Like, the longer I have this cabinet, the more it upsets me. So
sometimes the poison's in the details at times.
Right. And, if you just unbox something and unbox it, build it, and start filming a review video within 5 minutes, you're making a mistake. You're not doing justice to the viewers. So that's why I've waited for 4 or 5 days, and I still haven't put my review out yet for that cabinet. So,
Well, and I think what the Arcade wound up doing is they're not trying to appease us because we're such a small piece of their puzzle now of their base, So they're not trying to appease me and you, P-Dubs or Glenn or D-Love. They're like, okay, we can upgrade this joystick a little bit. The volume, people at home might just go, hey, this is the way arcades are. They're loud, This is it. But that's not it. I mean, they should be. They're patronizing us to a certain extent, I think, on some of these new builds.
Rex makes a very, very valid point. I mean, we are the extremists. We are the super fans, right? We're like, we're not the Kathleen Kennedy of fans, right? We're more like the George Lucas type of fans. I got to bring Kathleen Kennedy up, always. But in any case, the point I'm trying to make here is that these are not designed for the hardcore enthusiasts. We're buying it because we love them. I want that look of an asteroid machine or the look of, Star Wars. They're toys. Remember, they won the 2018 Toy of the Year, not an arcade award. It was a toy. It's a toy that we've embraced and putting it on a higher pedestal than it came out to. What they're starting to do, though, is they have released like the Marvel one when they enhanced the controllers and they're upgrading some things to make it better, and they're testing the waters. And they sold pretty well. A nice box, they had the Marvel box on it. So I think, unfortunately, the thing going on right now that we kind of mention the word and get to like the video flagged or anything, but the things going on right now, it's really put a kink in the works because there would have been more announcements, I'm sure, by now stating that we have these cabinets at this price, and then if you want the better controls and better things, they have to come out with these cabinets. And I really think that Scott and Arcade One, when they came into this, really didn't think this was going to blow up into what it has blown up into, right? But it has, and he sees a huge market. That's why Arcade One Up is not going to be just the arcade machines anymore. Arcade One Up is a brand of theirs now, coming a whole slew of different things. And as they see what works and what doesn't, they're going to go full force. But remember, companies, even these machines, everyone says they're cheap and they're not that good, cost millions to design, to get the companies to build them, to make prototypes, to have them sent out. That costs a lot of money. So for a company, it's not like, you and me going out and spending $300 to buy wood and building it ourselves, right? There's a lot of money involved. There's marketing as well. That costs money. Marketing costs money. I mean, we're free. We're free. We do a lot of marketing for them.
Yeah, we do.
We do. But I remember that commercial that they did. I love that commercial that they did. I thought it was really, really good. And that cost money. So before they start really coming out with a $1,000 cabinet, they need to make sure, okay, if we make a $1,000 cabinet, how many are we going to sell?
All right.
When they sell these $300 ones, $400 ones, they could sell 10, 20, 30,000.
Right.
If they make a $1,000, you know what's going to happen? I'm not spending $1,000 for a cabinet. That's crazy talk. Blah, 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 blah. You can't win. It's the internet. You can't win either way. But I think what they may do, and I think they've kind of hinted at this, is they may do like a pre-order. Like if we get like a 2,000 pre-orders, we will make this cabinet with this type of quality. And I think if they do that and see how that works for them, and if it does work, I think you may start seeing more cabinets of higher quality. But again, they're also at the leisure of the license holder, because they're the people who have to ultimately say, yep, it's okay to do that. Or if you make something even better, we want a bigger cut. Don't think that a Namco, especially Atari, if you make a cabinet of higher quality, they're going to make more money on. They're going to want more money as well. So you got to think about that.
Yeah. And guys, I know it's a wrestling themed show. I don't want you guys thinking I'm here cutting a promo on Arcade 1-Up. I'll see you at Hell in a Cell. What I'm saying is sometimes they hit a home run. Star Wars cabinet, home run. Ninja Turtles, home run. The Marvel Special Edition, home run. And then sometimes it's a bunt.
Lay an egg.
It's a bunt. It's a signal. It's a double. This Pac-Man cabinet, the longer I have it, the more I don't like it. And it's just my personal opinion. And I'm trying to be honest with the people who watch my channel that this thing is driving me nuts. I can't turn the volume up above 3 without blowing my eardrums out. And just walking by the cabinet, you know how what they hype that these cabinets are art, that it's art, right? That it's beautiful. And, you know, you walk past your arcade room and you smile when you look at all your arcades. They look so pretty. They look so cute. When I walk by that cabinet, it doesn't look so pretty. It doesn't look so cute. It looks like a checkerboard, and it's driving me nuts. So, Carl,
well, you got to fix the...
You've been a little quiet, Carl. What do you think?
Yeah, again, they missed the mark. I mean, Glenn's right. It is a toy, but it is also art, and that's why I have the Galaga, because I like the way the Galaga one. That's always been one of my favorite ones. That's what draw me to buy it. But I think with the Pac-Man, they just missed it in a few different spots. With that marquee, the way it's set back, and you got that huge piece of wood sticking out on both sides, and that thing looks horrible. With the mismatch of the wood grain, it just doesn't. I wouldn't want to have that in my house. I would rather have the regular Pac-Man with the red stripes and then the Galaga. I'd rather have those two cabinets than have that single cabinet. And those extra games outside of Super Pac-Man, and Galaga, I could do without those other Pac-Man games. So it's a thumbs down for me with that 40th edition Pac-Man.
Yeah. Oh, Rex muted himself.
I'm good. No, I'm here. Yeah. I'm here. I muted myself because I was going to drop some F-bombs on this thing and say,
I know. But the light up marquee is another issue. My light up marquee, when I took it out of the box and I tilted the marquee over, I heard the rattling, all the parts were inside. I opened that sucker up, and it's a piece of wood that's looks like it's been dremeled out, and they put an LED strip in there, screwed in with 2 itty-bitty screws less than half a centimeter long, which obviously if these boxes get dropped, those screws pop out. I know it's not Arcade's 1-Up fault. My cabinet got some serious damage on it. Definitely the FedEx guy. I mean, they did pack it.
It got body slammed.
I mean, it got the tombstone pile driver from the FedEx
got
guy.
DDT'd,
you know, but still, and then it's a cheap piece of plastic mold that's sitting up with a sticker on it, and that's your $80 marquee. I mean, you know, in all honesty, some guys are telling you the marquees are great. I don't think they're worth $80, but I understand licensing fees. I mean, you know, they're going to have to charge maybe more than the next guy. What do you think about their light up marquees, Glenn?
Well, I have the only one I have from them, from the fact it's got a light up marquee. It's not an Angel marquee, which I love. Angel's marquees. I think it does a really nice job. Is my Star Wars cabinet, and unfortunately, the light up marquee in that one does not work. So I have a request in with service to get that fixed. I took it apart, and the marquee is just the LEDs are just dead. So, and the funny thing is that I have 14 of the machines, and out of 14 machines, that was the very first one that I actually had a fault like that. All the other ones, nothing crazy. Sometimes the decals up a little bit and you press down and it came down fine. Nothing crazy. This is the first one that actually had an actual defect in it. And just waiting to see how long it takes. Of course, it's going to take a lot longer because of the current issues in the world. It's just going to take longer to me get it. Is it a big deal? No, I think I agree with you. The Star Wars cabinet is beautiful. I mean, it's probably one of the nicest cabinets. I don't have the turtles yet. I'll probably get it. But they listened. I mean, they listened. They made a better machine. But overall, $80 for the marquee. Again, I don't know what they have to pay out for licenses.
Oh yeah.
Me personally, I think now with this, there's a lot of options. They're a little late to the game.
Right. Yeah.
So if it came with the machine, great. If you have a couple like the Golden Tee, this one, a couple have those. I'm going to keep it the same because we said on the other show with Steven, he wanted to keep his marquees looking the same, and I sure do now as well. So I have like 2 more or 3 more I have to go through with Angel because I want it to look the same. And his are $60, so.
Well, guys, we got a super chat here from Dr. Zohar. If they miss the mark on the 30th anniversary cabinet of Mortal Kombat in 2022, I will sue for emotional distress. Yes, Zohar, we all know you will. The world's biggest Mortal Kombat fan. Now, I'm going to ask you guys a question, and it's about the marquee being set so far back. Tell me why you guys like it or don't like it, and I'll actually tell you why it was a good move. Go ahead.
Well, I think if they slanted the screen and then had that back, I think I might like it better. But it's just too much wood there. I would have rather them trimmed off that. I know they're trying to use the same stock, side panels, but to me it just looks horrible with the hat. It's what, about 4 to 6 inches of wood on both sides of that.
It's a nice size gap. Yeah. What do you think, Rex? Do you like having that marquee back?
I don't dislike it to a point where it's going to, prevent me from buying the thing or anything, but I don't know many arcades original that have that deep set marquee. I'm trying to think, and I don't know. And the other thing is when you look at it from an angle or a side, the marquee's got to be getting cut off for the first letter or the 2 letters. And you only, if you're looking at it from an angle and people are, that looks like Pac-Man. Yeah. Is that well, if the marquee was in the front, you'd see the whole, Pac-Man, and it'd jump out at you. But I don't know.
Yeah. So this screen, if you guys don't have this cabinet already, is recessed. And this screen, out of all the Arcade 1-Up cabinets, is recessed the furthest back. I mean, this thing is even further back than the Marvel and the TMT cabinets. It's almost twice as far back. And obviously, when you're looking at this thing from eye level, if you're 5'11", 6 feet tall like I am, when I stand in front of an Arcade 1-Up machine, the marquee that's pushed all the way to the front, like we've seen in the past, the bottom of the marquee lines up with the top of the screen. So it's a perfect visual standpoint. It doesn't get in the way. With them recessing the screen so far back, they had to move the marquee so far back to keep that same line of sight. If that marquee was pushed forward with the screen tilted back, you wouldn't be able to see the top half of the screen. It'd be blocking your view. So what I did is I stood in front of my regular Ninja Turtles machine, and I'm like, oh yeah, the bottom of the marquee lines up with the top of the screen. I go over to the other machine, the Pac-Man machine, and the bottom of the marquee lines up with the top of the screen. It's a perfect visual placement. So in all honesty, although I have a lot of issues with this cabinet, the one thing that I am actually okay with is the recessed marquee, because it made sense visually to put it there. So what do you guys think about that?
And I agree with that, but again, I would have rather them would have redesigned the front panel or the side panel so that you didn't have that excess wood. Keep it back there, but get rid of that extra wood is my point.
Oh, that's a great idea. What if they had shaved those down a little bit?
Right. Yeah, that would look a whole lot better.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah. What about for somebody who's taller, P-Dubs? Because I mean, if somebody was tall, like you were talking about earlier, is the screen getting cut off? Because that's been a problem for me a couple times on a couple different models of 3/4 scale arcades, not just 1-Ups.
Well, they build these just for guys who are 5'11" and a half like me, Rex. I mean, it's designed for me, not you. So you're out of luck. So I'm just kidding. Okay, guys. Some other funny news, and should we cover that one? Nah, we'll skip that one because the show's going on for a while here. So what are you thinking about, Rex? I got to ask you, man, and also Glenn. What do you guys think about this II arcade and where it sits right now? What are you thinking?
Oh boy, yeah, you said me first, so I'll go. Again, I hate to give you my honest opinion because I'm not going to make any friends again. I think they did a great job with the design after they changed it. But I don't see anyone who already has a multi-cade or any type of arcade that can play their own ROMs. I don't see the point in anybody buying it instead of an @games or instead of something that they already have or they're already going to build. I don't know who's buying an II arcade because it's not the game selection that's going to draw you in. I understand it can process Riptide, but I don't want to play Riptide on my arcade. I really don't care to, So give me some other selling point besides you can play Riptide, and it's got a great sound system. Terrific. You know, I mean, that's my position right now. I got a lot more to say on it, but we don't have time for everything on here. So
I'm not going to tell you who the content creator was, but a guy did message me and says, you know what the next drinking game should be? I said, what? He goes, every time Jong says the word experience, we take a shot. So we'll give that a shot. Glenn, what do you think about the iArcade so far?
Honestly, you know, it's not out. I haven't got my hands on it. I wasn't at CS. I didn't play with it at all. But from looking at it aesthetically, I don't think it's anything to look at. I mean, if I'm just sitting there walking by like the iGames machine, especially after I put the new artwork on it, it looks really good, or an arcade one-up. I'm just visually looking at it. Yeah, I'm not attracted to the machine to begin with. I'm just not. And right. I don't like. I know he's talking about the speakers, you know, for the experience. Have 2 drinks experience. Sound is important, but if that's the highlight of the machine,
right,
that's not an arcade experience. I mean, sound it's nice, but I think they're really touting it more towards like an at games type of thing where they're pushing, you know, newer content, newer games on there. But most people have a gaming rig,
right,
already. Now, the one thing I can say is with their Kickstarter, if that comes to fruition, for the price, we still really have the full specs of it. But from what he's saying, at the Kickstarter price, it might not be a bad deal if you don't have anything already. Personally, just looking at it, even on a stand, it just wasn't attractive. When you bring your friends over to play the machines, it doesn't want to look like something you built yourself in a garage. And I hate to say it that way, but it does look like something I would build if I just went out and cut sharp angles. It's just not attractive. It doesn't have the curves of like the arcade machine or the small like form factor of the arcade one-up. So like Rex said, I'm not really sure who they're going for. It looks like they're trying to go for more the modern gamer. They keep talking about modern games, getting these modern games on there, which is fine. But then you really want an analog joystick, wouldn't you? Versus a digital stick to play those type of games. And again, Doug did play it, and he said he was fine with it. And again, I just from the visuals, I'm not attracted to it. When I get that Playboy and pull up that centerfold, I want to say, oh, yes, I want that. I don't feel that with this.
It does not appeal to the arcade enthusiasts. It's not an arcade. I mean, it's not. If you're appealing to the modern people like sitting on their couch playing games. They don't stand up at an arcade cabinet. That's not what they know. So the people who understand, like, and enjoy standing at an arcade is not gonna. If you walked into a room and you saw a Pac-Man machine or Gallagher and this thing here, nobody's gonna walk to this thing. Nobody's gonna be appealed and drawn to that. When we mod these things, I put those speaker bars in it, and they have an awesome sound. So I still have the appeal, the look of the machine, and it sounds incredible. So I wouldn't buy this if it had Boston speakers in it because it sounds so great, because it's not something that's going to draw my attention to. I'm not going to be attracted to. I'm not going to walk up into it and play it.
Yeah. And talk about saying your prayers and eating your vitamins. Glenn, you're looking awfully pale.
I am. You know what? I'm becoming more and more transparent every day. I've been messing with my flux capacitor a little bit. I think I may have done some damage a few years ago, so I might be phasing out of existence. I don't know, but I can't see fully through my hand yet.
Well, on a different note, for a black guy, I'm awfully pale myself.
Oh, that's hilarious. All right, I got another fun piece of news for you. So celebrity YouTuber Retro Ralph, his personal phone number got revealed to the world last week, and the internet went crazy. And unfortunately, that post got taken down, and people who wanted Retro Ralph's phone number, they couldn't get it. So luckily, guys, P-Dubs and the Loft Report, we were on the prowl. We got a screenshot right here. So get your pens ready. Write down Retro Ralph's phone number. It's 1-800-764-2760. That's the number to reach Retro Ralph for the Arcade 1-Up X. So make sure you guys, if you call that number, ask for Retro Ralph. There you go. Now you guys have Retro Ralph's personal phone number. And hopefully he doesn't get mad that I shared his personal phone number. So anyway, so moving on, guys, let's get to the main event. Oh, I love it. That was a great transition. WrestleFest. Glenn, I got to hear it from you. WWF Wrestlefest. Tell me what you think about our game of the week.
To be honest, I haven't been into wrestling. You guys are going to hate me since like 88. Sergeant Slaughter, back in the day, Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
So I don't follow it anymore. And the people get mad at me for that, but I just don't follow wrestling anymore. Like I said, I go on a date. That's about as close as I get to wrestling right there. When the woman will toss me around and throw me, backside. That's about it.
Yeah. And what about you, Rex? You've played WrestleFest though, right?
I like WrestleFest. It's much better than WrestleMania or whatever. It's 4-player tag team. There's a lot of great aspects to this game. It's when you play, I think the Royal Rumble, it doesn't last that long. So, you beat it and then it's done, which I kind of don't like that part. But from a wrestling game, and I'll go back to Glenn, us older guys.
Right.
I played pro wrestling. I grew up on pro wrestling. I loved it. Mr. Slender, Fighter Hayabusa, the Amazon, that game was great. It was ahead of its time, But then I went a little bit further into WrestleMania, some of the arcade ports, but never into the new stuff. I think the last thing I remember about wrestling is when that guy fell from the thing and died. I don't even know who that was, but then, I was like, oh boy, this wrestling's got out of control, man. People are falling from the rafters and dying. And but that was the end of my wrestling following. But from a game standpoint, I like WrestleFest. It's one of the better arcade wrestling games.
Okay. So we have I'm going to do a giveaway. We're going to do another $10 Amazon gift card, and P-Dubs does make good on his giveaways. All the $10 Amazon gift cards were sent out for all the winners from last week's show. So here's the pop quiz question for you guys: is in WrestleFest, in the arcade release, the original arcade machine, how many playable characters were there? Throw that in the chat. First person to put it in there, and we will you'll win a $10 Amazon gift card. And while they're putting their guesses in, when you play WrestleFest, Rex or Carl, who's your favorite character to play as?
Well, this game is one of the most simplistic wrestling games. They definitely evolved over time. Hulk Hogan was always the loudest, craziest guy, So I usually play as him. And the Snake Robbers, Jake the Snake. Those two are the two guys I typically would play.
Yeah.
But to me, this game is I just get beat up too easily. It's not enough buttons for me to be able to do anything.
Now, go ahead, Rex.
For me, usually it's the guy with the special, the best special move. And Jake the Snake, I think, had the DDT where he'd whack it, bam, he'd drop you down. But I play with Mr. Perfect because he does the perfect plex where he spins around and then pins you on the back, So I liked him. And then 1, 2, you get him with the perfect plex. So, but I think in that game, I think some players are better than others. I think Big Boss or somebody, one of the big guys, does more damage. Maybe, I don't know, but it seems like if you pick the wrong player, you're not going to be as successful. I don't know though. I haven't played with everyone.
Yeah. What about you, Glenn?
Oh, I don't play that game, but that's what he was saying. I'm thinking about Bo Jackson when they were playing football games. If you didn't have Bo Jackson in your game, first of all, you won. I mean, you were just winning the game. If you didn't have it, you were going to lose.
Right.
You want to take Superfly Snuka in that game?
There we go.
I think it's pretty obvious who P-Dubs would pick playing that game. Hulk Hogan, of course, leg drop. Now, winner is Nikki. Congratulations, Nikki. Make sure you send me a message or I'll track you down after the show so we can get you your $10 gift card. The original arcade release did include 10 wrestlers, and this picture's a little fuzzy, but here they are right here. You had Hulk Hogan, Mr. Perfect, Jake the Snake, Earthquake, Sergeant Slaughter, Crush, Demolition, Big Boss Man, Ultimate Warrior, and of course the $1 Million Man. However, when the game was put on MAME, they added the Legion of Doom, which brought it up to 12 characters total. So, but the original arcade did have 10. So that was kind of a trick question. I figured a lot of people would throw 12 in because a lot of us has probably played it on MAME. But there you go. Congrats to Nikki for winning the $10 Amazon gift card. What I liked about this game is, think about all the console games that have happened since that have tried to recreate the experience of being at a WWF wrestling show where you have crowds, entrance music, moves specific to the characters. They did backstage interviews. You could get out of the ring. You could fight outside the ring. You could use the staircase or the briefcase as weapons. I mean, they put a lot in this game, and this game came out in, 1991? I mean, and think about nowadays, like the Xbox and the PlayStation wrestling games, they put all this stuff in there, but it all started with WrestleFest. They were the first ones to put, like, what it would actually be like if you were at a show. This is what it would be like at the show, so we're going to put it in the game. So kudos to Technos when they designed that game way back in the day for trying to make it as real as they could with the technology they had at the time. So I was thinking to myself, there's one caveat, though, guys, and I'll give you a little tip. If you want to win the Royal Rumble, pick a member of the Legion of Doom if you're playing the game on MAME, and that's because when they added those characters on MAME, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the Legion of Doom characters have 25% more strength than all the other characters, and it's a pretty easy way to just crush that game is to pick a member of the Legion of Doom. So, Rex, you said you're not watching wrestling anymore, though?
I don't watch wrestling.
Oh, you don't watch wrestling anymore?
No, not anymore.
Am I the only one in this panel? The only one who still tunes into Monday Night Raw? Come on now.
You are.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Glenn, minus WrestleFest, are there any other wrestling games that you have played in the past that you've really enjoyed?
I tell you, the one game genre I never played was wrestling.
Oh, really?
I felt, like I said, remember, I'm an old man, so at Atari there was no wrestling games on it, and that was the era I'd be watching, wrestling on TV. And actually back then, it was on cable, and it was only on like channel 38. It was like a PBS special would go, and then their wrestling come on. So it was very early days of wrestling. When I fell out of it, man, I just football, baseball games, soccer games, wrestling. I just never played. Like I said, dates. Too much bad dating memories.
You crack me up. Carl, what about you? There's some other wrestling games you've played that we were talking about before the show started that you have some opinions on, and I would love to hear the feedback in the chat from the community on these games. What do you got for us, Carl?
Well, I'm similar to Glenn. I didn't play a whole lot, growing up through the arcade, but since I had the modded machines and I have the Wolfenall's image, there's several wrestling games on there to play. And so I like a few of them. I actually like the WrestleMania by Midway a lot better. The characters were just a little bit nicer looking characters, though the emulation has some sound issues and things like that, so it kind of takes away from the game. But of the WWF games, which those are the characters so I can relate to, versus the newer things, I would prefer the WrestleMania over
WrestleMania.
The Superstars or the WrestleFest.
What about Saturday Night Slam Masters? Wasn't that a fun game?
Yeah, that is actually a pretty fun game, and that's Capcom, I believe, right?
Yeah. And then,
Capcom has several games, and a lot of them are similar.
Yeah.
Because on the main you have like the Japanese releases or the Europe releases. So there's quite a few of the Capcom, and from a playability, I prefer the Capcom because it's more of the traditional fighting type of play over the one or two or three button wrestling things. Those things are just so archaic and so limited. I definitely prefer the Capcom versions of the wrestling games. But I would say the most surprising game that I liked was one called 3 Count Bout by SNK. It was a 1993 game. Of the non-6 button games, that one was the surprise favorite for less than 6 buttons.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that game out. I appreciate it, Carl. I have not played that one myself. So funny story. I think we're gonna get our first wrestling game on an arcade 1-up cabinet, right? On that Sega cabinet, Glenn. Is there gonna be a wrestling game on there? I think Wrestle War or something is gonna be on there. You don't know?
Maybe.
Maybe. Well, it is, and it's a vertical screen wrestling game that they're putting on a horizontal cabinet. Rex, what do you think about that?
I don't know how you can have a vertical wrestling game. I don't know anything about this game, but just doesn't seem right to me. I don't know.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Well, actually, the Wrestle War is on the Wolfenose image, which all of the other games are all horizontal games.
Right.
That one's vertical, so it is playable, and I actually didn't mind it too much on the landscape version, though I personally do not like when they mix and match the games like that. But the Wrestle War it actually is a pretty decent game from the graphic standpoint and from the playabilities. So I had this on my list as this was my best wrestling game only because my vertical cab is my favorite cabinet. So my Galaga is the cabinet I play more than anything. The 2-player cabinets, that's when people come over and playing with people. That's the only time I play that. When it's just me, I'm on the vertical cab. So Wrestle War, I definitely, even for those who have the horizontal modded ones, it's definitely a game you want to take a look at it because it's a pretty decent wrestling game.
Yeah, yeah. So, guys, we definitely don't want to. We want to make sure we end the show in time for Glenn to get on with Cole. And I appreciate you, Glenn, jumping on last minute. Really, really appreciate it. Why don't you let us know, minus your live stream today, what else do we know anything else? What's going on with the Star Wars Kickstarter? I'm sure folks want to hear about that.
Yeah, sure. Well, we're not going to be delayed. You know, the pandemic issue has not caused really any problem. So I'm expecting to get my first samples of the production unit next maybe 1 or 2 weeks. So just basically everything's pretty much done. The software seems to be complete. The molds are done. So it should be around July, August, just depending on, when I get my sample, if I think everything is the way it should be, we'll go full steam and get them out there. So that's good.
Awesome.
Now, a lot of people have been asking about the trackball. So we are not producing, so it's being announced right here, the version 2 trackball anymore. Once the Star Wars joystick is out, we're working on version 3, which would be a huge improvement over version 2. So people looking for trackballs right now, I'm sorry, we're not going to have anything for a little bit because we have to obviously now get rolling on that one. But we're going to have a lot of new features in that trackball, make it a lot better. We've taken a lot of feedback and what people wanted.
Really?
So we're going to work that into there. And then we still have our light guns that we have getting ready to come out too. So a lot of stuff going on. But the Star Wars is on schedule, and I'm hoping everyone's going to find it to be aesthetically accurate to what was in the arcade machine. And it's going to work in your arcade 1-up. We're actually making a clip-on mount for the Legends cabinet. So basically, just go up to your Legends, it's going to mount right over your trackball, kind of clamp on there, and you'll have your Star Wars yoke right there. And that'll work for other cabinets as well. So everything's going good.
Man, you got a lot of great stuff in the works, and the
That's
community.
Why I'm so transparent now, man. My blood still getting sucked out of me.
And the community really appreciates your efforts, Glenn. I hope you know that. And I never had an issue with the original trackball. But hey, everything can be made better, and if you're making it better, that's awesome. Do you think we'll see your light gun before we see that Sinden light gun? Are we going to see that?
We're trying. It's a lot. It's so much work to get everything going, but we're trying. I mean,
you'll beat the Sinden.
Yeah, the Star Wars yoke is already like 8 months behind schedule. I was saying that way, on schedule. But we're finally getting it out there. And the Kickstarter was very successful. So because of that, we have some other big projects that have come down the pipe that I think people are going to like, but we'll need backing for it just because, again, that stuff just costs money.
Yeah. You got fans in the chat, Glenn. They're saying your spinner is awesome and all that kind of stuff. And
thank you.
And I like the trackball because it also lights up and it looks so cute. So, and then of course everyone can tune into Glenn every Friday night for the Retro Buzz, for their arcade and gaming news show. Fantastic program. I love the fact that you guys let me call in from time to time. I have a blast collaborating with you guys.
You gotta give out stickers, man. Just put out those stickers.
Oh yeah. Let's not stickers. I got plenty of them. And Rex, what do you have coming up? What can people expect from you?
Well, I got a lot of refurbs going on in arcades. I'm working on a couple refurbs. I gotta still do this one behind me. I'm gonna show off this one eventually. But as always, my favorite thing is the trivia stream that I do every 2 weeks. And I just, for Glenn, I want to invite you on. And the reason is because a guy in the chat named Wolfenos is our champion usually, and he wins every time. And he said that I told him I'm going to bring Glenn on my trivia. He's going to beat you. And Wolfenos said something to the fact that, oh, I forgot more about retro gaming than Glenn knows, or something like that, he said. Well, so I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, you know what? He's got it close. I think we've both forgotten more than we remember. That's the problem.
So you got to come on, give him a challenge, but always look for that. And as always, I just do, I really want to do some more live streams where we talk about products like II Arcade, talk about the 1-ups and, because everybody who watches me, I kind of give it to you probably the way you don't want to hear it. I point out more of the bad than the good. And don't get me wrong, I love Arcade 1-up. I love Arcade 1-up, and they've done some great things.
It's all about the community. To be honest, Rex, it's all about the community. We have good guys here on the show, and that's all it's about. I'm more than happy to come on. I saw Wolf laugh a second ago. It's true. I probably forgot more, but it's just about a good bunch of guys. I would love to come on the show because it's just good talking about this type of stuff, And I'm sure I forgot more though.
Yeah, and I maybe cut a couple promos on Arcade 1-up in this episode. But then again, guys, they don't always hit a home run. Not everything is perfect and beautiful and wonderful. Same with that game, same with Toy Shock, same with II Arcade. And the only way they're going to get better is by us being honest and being fair and providing them this feedback.
And despite all that, most of us wouldn't have an arcade in our home today if not for Arcade 1-up.
Absolutely.
So I have to go play my original 3/4 scale Arcade 1-up here in a second. Sorry guys. See you later.
That's so funny.
That's a joke.
That's so funny. So coming down the line on my channel, I will be dropping my Pac-Man review. It's probably not going to be well received, but I'm going to be honest. And then, of course, I got an awesome update for those of you who have a Pixelcade marquee, whether you want to put it on an Arcade 1-up or put it on an At Games Legends Ultimate. Al has been working on some secret stuff that just got up and running, and I'm going to drop an update video on that for you, so stay tuned to the channel for that. Carl, what else do you have coming up down the hopper? You're always working on some really savvy tech project.
Yeah, I'm normally modding, so I just always trying to improve upon every cabinet that I do next and share that information with the viewers so that they can do their mods. Because we take all this for granted, but there's a lot of new people coming on who've never modded and never had an Arcade 1-up. So I just always want to make sure that they're able to do that and enjoy doing it and be able to play all these extra games that we're talking about that they wouldn't be able to do otherwise.
We got a super chat here from Mark. Wants to know, Glenn, will your version 3 trackball be able to change colors without removing the deck? And will it have an option to, I think he meant fade through the colors?
It's funny, the fading of the colors was actually in the original prototype, and we took it out. I don't know why, but we did. But we're looking at doing things like that. We're going to have to remove it. Even, being able to change those colors without having to take the thing apart is a big deal. A lot of people want to do that, and it's a pain, I guess, right now. So, yeah, We're looking to add that to it, yes.
Okay. That's good to hear, guys. That's good to hear. So it's just, is it youtube.com/Glenn's Retro Show?
Actually, I think it's just YouTube/Glenn Planamento Loaf.
Everybody knows who you are. You're world famous, brother. Don't worry about it. And Rex, where can everyone find you?
Well, you can find me at the Rexer Show YouTube / the Rexer Show on YouTube. I do have a Twitter handle, the Rexer Show, not on there too often, but you can also find me on Twitch as well if I ever stream some video games here and there. If I ever get time, so much going on and so many things to do. Anybody with YouTube channel knows how much time it takes, to just do one video, let alone be consistent, especially us with jobs and stuff like that. So
jobs?
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah.
Now you're also on Humble Bumble and Grindr as well, right, Rex? Is that true?
That is not true. I'm Farmers.com or whatever.
Okay, I got to get Rex back because I was a guest on his show and he really, you grilled me, brother. Like I was taken aback. I got off the show. I was like, Are Rex and I friends?
Hey, I make fun of everybody equally. I love making fun of Retro Ralph, and you know that.
Yeah, Rex basically was telling me I was an idiot, which is fine. So I still love you, bro. And Carl, where can everyone find Detroit Love?
Detroit Love on YouTube, Real Detroit Love on any of the other platforms.
And of course, guys, I am your good old host, P-Dubs. Appreciate you hanging out upstairs with us. Hopefully we entertained you. Hopefully we gave you some laughs. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Make sure you tune in next Sunday. I got something huge planned. You guys aren't going to want to miss it. Details to come during the week. And Carl, whenever you're ready to take it away, we can take it away.
Hey, guys, thanks for watching. Until next time, I'll see you on the web.